That's witchcraft.
It's not. In fact, Galileo argued against the church for a long time, under house arrest. But the church eventually agreed with him, and that was during that era that all this sort of stuff is set in. So it was understood.
Look,
Well, yeah,
we're in the
Aristotle was
era,
the first
we're
one
in
to
the
say it.
era, we're in the
Wait,
era where they still believe the sun rotates around Earth and we're the center of the universe.
Well,
I think that was just the church,
that's what I
because it
said.
proved the Earth
Galileo.
was round, like
Yeah, Galileo
in
argued
ancient
against the
Greece.
church in that with many books that he published, and they wanted him to recant, and he wouldn't. But in
Because he's a fucking
eventuality,
witch.
well, no, in the eventuality, the church agreed with him for a long time anyway. So
I think you're
Oh,
just trying
sorry.
to Lantra.
What's up?
Ada's a witch.
look, I'm just saying that A, you saw me roll my character, and B, don't stand in
Warlock.
the middle of nowhere by yourself because this place is full of cowards with guns. Just forget for the fact that I also have a gun.
With no ammo.
You think? Just because I wasn't willing to shoot you once.
Alexandre and Genevieve, where you guys?
Well, I'm looking for Marsha still, so at least I know where Hilarious is.
Oh, okay. Where are you thinking of looking?
Well, first I stopped by Hilarious. He has no front door, which means he has a perfect eye view to the street.
Yeah. So he's awake now. In the bottom. As soon as you come in, he says, "I was wondering when you'd get back."
Well, I hope you weren't waiting for me. This isn't a normal night.
Well, clearly not anymore, but I was.
Then I guess you better start making babies.
Uh, he doesn't smile. He's like, it's a little bit wearing on him.
Really? After so many years, this is when you're gonna stop? Look, man, this is gonna be the test. One day, there's gonna be a changeling or some magical creature that's impersonating you, and I'm gonna wait. And I'm gonna wait for you to say the thing, and when you don't say the thing, that's when you're gonna get shot.
He goes, hey, he laughed. He like kind of chuckles a bit, and he goes, "I know, but you haven't had dinner yet." Speaking of which, you want it? I could put it on the phone.
Nah, it's too late. Have you seen Marsha? I should come by this way.
I saw her run into the chapel, make a fuss. Think she's still there?
Alright. I'm trying to put a stop to this, so I gotta head out. You stay safe in here.
He was okay. I will. Heading to the chapel.
Yep. And we're gonna get married.
Yeah. Yeah, Marsha's there waiting for you.
Waiting for me.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're getting married to Marsha right now?
Man, you guys don't even know what plans I got going on.
But no, she's sitting. She's like looks like she was praying, but you can see the door to the rectory has been like broken open. Right, she basically broke it open, and she's sitting in like the front pew, praying at the hammered altar.
I hope you're saying a prayer for poor Eb.
She looks at you and says, "I'm sure he'll be fine."
Eb is dead. What are you talking about?
Well, then he's with the God Emperor.
Well before his time, I'm sure. That boy had a long life ahead of him. I could see it.
Well, where's where was Jeb, Alexandre?
What do you mean, where was Jeb?
You told me he was there, and he wasn't there.
He was there when I ran. If you guys took too long getting there to him, then I got nothing to say about that.
What'd you do to him?
Well, seeing as I was standing there talking to you when you left, not a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah. I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a second.
You saw it with your own goddamn eyes, woman.
But I know how your kind is, Trixie.
Yeah, and we also eat babies. I'm sure you said that one too.
I know that you do.
Of course I
That
do.
young girl.
We're evil as Ian, right?
That's right. That young. What's her name?
Genevieve?
No. She's also a witch, but not her.
Her mother?
That young Shmee girl lost that little child. It was probably you.
Yeah, it was probably me. Evil
This-
me, the one that's trying to
This
save
happened, like,
your son.
20 years ago.
No,
Yeah,
I
this happened,
understand.
like, 20 years ago.
I understood the moment you said Shmee. This person that I don't know, it's obviously an insult to me, but, you know, Dingo ate my baby and whatnot. Evil, evil me, who's trying to save your son, and went to you for help.
She says, like the God Emperor says, we cannot trust them at all. And she she faces away from you.
Is Father Seneca here? Or is he just not here?
He was at Matilda's.
Oh, okay. Right, told him to stay. I remember now.
Yeah, it was only a few hours ago in the game.
Anyways, come on, Marsha, I need you to leave.
Pretty sure this is a house of the God Emperor, and you have no power.
I think you'll find that this is just a house. You take the God Emperor with you, I believe is the tenant.
Suffer 1 corruption for blasphemy.
Yep. I mean, that's fine. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's a small.
Yeah, you can't blaspheme the gods. They are spiteful people. I said that out of character. Anyways, I already said what I said, which is, this is just a house. You take the God Emperor with you.
She's back to praying.
Marsha, don't make me force you. I'm trying to save your family, goddammit.
She ramps up her prayer. I don't know. She's saying whatever the equivalent of a Hail Mary is in the God Emperor's faith.
God Emperor, full of grace, hallowed be thy name.
Yeah, right.
Kind of going Super Saiyan now.
Yeah, and you're kind of getting louder every time you try raising your voice over her. She's going to keep. Would you like to attempt a maneuver to get her out? Like a charm or an intimidate? You were kind of going down that path. I just want to make
Which path?
of convincing her to come out. I mean, you're going with
Right, no, but I mean your interpretation of what I was saying. Did you think it was more charm, or did you think it was more intimidate?
Well, I'm gonna leave it up to you what tact you want to take for the role, and then we can sort of role play whatever result there is, right? Up till this point, I'd say there wasn't a hard commit yet. Maybe a charm, maybe an intimidate, and then I think you can go either way.
I mean, I would lean more towards charm. Like I did say, I'm trying to save your family. God damn it! Just because I'm throwing hard expletives in the midst of conversation doesn't mean the meaning isn't there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept it. Charm. Make this a not challenging. She finishes her last Hail Sigmar. Stands up, breathes deep, and says, "Well, Alexandre, where are we going?"
We're about to have a conversation with Elja.
I ain't speaking to that witch.
That's fine. I'll speak to her. You be present, and then you can speak to me, and then I'll speak to her. Genevieve,
Yes, sir.
please escort Marcia to the inn.
She will quietly do that.
Yeah, she gives you like a dirty, horrible look the entire way. And I'm sorry, guys. I gotta take one more. I'll be right back.
It's fine. Because, I mean, of course, we don't want to have this conversation at the Hutsfield barricade. We'll just get shot immediately. And as much as we all hate Marcia, it's not what I'm here for.
Wait, we could have done it at the church, and then we all could have gained a bunch of corruption. Or like,
Well, I mean, I
don't
guess
know.
that we now know that you want tons of corruption.
Hey, I got 3 order rings. No, I'm not in it for that.
I mean, to be fair, I've already said that I'm not going to use fate points, so all the order ranks that I've got mean nothing to me. I've just gained all of, 2 corruption the entire campaign. Not even all in one session. So, and they've gone away all the time, so it doesn't matter either.
I think I was.
Sorry. Yeah, let's get back to it. You have Marsha going to the
In.
yeah, let's get Rutherford and Rasmussen. As you guys are walking,
Ow!
as you guys are walking, driving it like with your wagon, your little wagon with Rasmussen in it.
With one leg and one peg leg hanging out of the front.
Yeah.
Yep.
You pass Elja as she's just leaving Matilda's, and she looks at you, and she looks at Rutherford, and she says something like, "Well, wait, did she see you guys kill Jeb? I don't think so, right?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because she went back to get her family. Yeah, she looks at you two and says, well, that was a hell of a fight, but I didn't see Jeb back there. Did you all see him?
Well, Rasmussen will give Rutherford a look and he'll just follow his lead.
He's kind of dead, kind of not dead. I don't know. He's a witch. I know that.
I knew it, she says. She like puts her hand on her chin. I knew it was him all along.
I would refrain from acting rash at the moment. The situation in the village is precarious, to say the least. We're handling matters slowly but surely. Just
She says, well, I don't call him curious. I shot me a Ziegenheld tonight. She says, puts her hands in her belt. Might be bad for business, but damn, did it feel good.
I can only imagine. Tell me, is Matilda available? I seem to require her skill.
She's doing all right. I told her and Father Seneca about the fight. Father Seneca's a little worried at the moment.
What does he have to be worried about?
Well, go in there and ask him yourself, I suppose.
We might just do that.
So she continues off towards the bridge, and as you guys enter Matilda's hut, you see Matilda and Father Seneca are back in there. Father Seneca is still awake, and he seems kind of nervous. Matilda seems slightly more calm, but focused. She seems focused, which is odd.
Pardon us. I hate to intrude, but if you have a few moments, Matilda, I could really use some of your care.
She said, Seems you took quite the beating. I think I can help you with that. Sit down and prepare to be bandaged.
I'd appreciate any help you can offer. Thank you. And I'll
You're
take my.
you're at the highest injury, right?
I am at.
Yeah, you are
Seriously
seriously.
wounded.
Seriously. So you okay? Just barely a pass. You heal one step. It takes about 10 minutes as she bandages you. She asks, "So, what'd you get in a fight with?"
Well, I look over to Rutherford, given that he's already spilled the beans about what happened. As it happens, I was in battle with Jeb, and it turns out that I did my utmost to end his life, but the end result remains to be seen. It's inconclusive.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Um, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and tell her everything.
You give her as truthful a recap.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
think I will.
uh, Father Seneca, like under his breath, says, "My God, Emperor," and Matilda just nods her head, and she says, "This is bad news. Very bad. Is it still? Was it still snowing when you left?"
No, it ended shortly
It was
after.
still. It
Oh, was
was.
it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have asked.
Yes, it was, though I have to admit I'm a little surprised that you would be overly concerned with the weather at a time like that.
It's too early for snow. Still far too early for snow.
Ah, I see.
The old ones back in the forest, and her seem to have taken an interest again. This is concerning. She looks down at her at herself, at her hands, and she after she's done bandaging you, she says, "I will need to do some things around the house. I'd rather if you all left."
Well, I thank you so much for your assistance, and I think we'll take our leave now. Take care.
She
So I guess at this point, where shall we head to, Rutherford? Shall we attempt to find Alexandra and Genevieve, or shall we head back to our inn? How do you want to play this?
I think we should take the cart and ox back to town with father. I don't know what to do with the horse.
Yeah, I
Father's
forgot that thing was still around.
Father Seneca comes out and he says, "You all seen Horseface around?"
He was with Elja earlier.
I know where he's at. I'm not coming to town with you. I will. Good luck.
Where is old Horseface?
Oh, he's by the Hutfeld's dock, probably the secret pier. Uh, it's not that good a secret if everyone.
Well,
Well.
all right. We have more important things to do than get drunk
Yeah.
with Horseface.
All right, you guys heading back.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Alexandre, was there anyone else you wanted to gather to the inn?
Let's just go back over the list. Let's see. No. Dead? No. Wait, also probably dead. No, I think that's everybody.
Okay. Um. All right. So Marsha is sitting at the table. Lucius is behind the bar. You and Genevieve. When Elja walks through, um, she doesn't say anything to Marsha, obviously, but she says, "Oh, Miss Genevieve, what a pleasure." And Alexandre.
What is it, not a pleasure?
Oh, a kind, I guess. She sits down. She sits down at the table and like sort of kicks back. Uh, hand like one hand's under the table, one hand's on the table, right? And she sits back. She goes, "So you called us here to
That
talk?"
I did. First things first, though. I'm gonna place both hands in the air. I'm gonna slowly reach down from my gun, hold it with 2 fingers, and then pass it to Genevieve.
I take it.
I say, if one of those two pulls a weapon on the other one, I want you to shoot them.
Oh God. Yeah. She doesn't object. She just nods.
I mean, I say that loudly enough so both of them will hear it. Now, of course, both of you, no one's holding you here against your will, but at the same time, I don't want you going off and killing one another before we had a chance to talk about things.
Elja looks at you. Marsha is muttering prayers under her breath.
Right. I think we both can come to a free understanding on this. Marcia, you're a hateful old bitch. Elja, you're an underhanded, conniving, I don't know, lunatic. I assume one of you will try to shoot the other one before you can leave this place. I ain't gonna have it.
She says, I won't pull the gun first, but I'll certainly shoot first."
I mean, that's just self-defense. That's completely legal.
Which, on that note, just want to say Ziegenheld shot first. Marsha looks like she stops praying for a second.
Let me ask you a question about that, Elja. Why were the Hutfelds there?
Well, I saw Jeb trying to arrest Genevieve right there and bring her in as the witch. I knew something was about to go.
Right, so your first thought was to bring a lot more Hutsfelds on the scene.
She doesn't. Yeah.
So you thought to exasperate the situation with more people.
Well, I wasn't about to let them burn poor Genevieve. And
Do you remember what happened to that fake witch hunter when they tried to burn somebody that we cared about without evidence? You know that wasn't going to happen.
well, I don't know if you could have stopped them, Andre.
If your help was needed, it would have been asked for. I can't help but to think that if the Ziegenheld shot first, it wasn't for no reason. It was, after all, their family member that was under attack.
She said, I didn't see Jeb there when I got back. They could have left. Marsha stares at her and she goes, You lying bitch. Can't trust a thing you.
Look, I'm just saying, it is a well-known fact that your two families hate one another. We can just get that off the table right now. We know that's true. So you're both going to lie about who started what. Now, the fact that the Hutzfelds all showed up at a thing that didn't mean anything to them, well, that's just extra cheese on the cake.
Well, let's just say I wasn't too keen on seeing them burn no innocent woman. And Elja, she stands up and you can see her hand is on a bag and she throws a bag of coin on the table. It's very loud. And she says, You should take that to the graph. Tell them, Hutfelds, we bought our freedom.
No.
I don't think you can say no.
Well, it's weird, because... Hold on. Give me a second. No. Nope, still seem to be able to.
Well,
I don't think you understand your position here in town. You got the freedoms to do whatever you want. Under the graph. As long as the graph owns the land, the people on it are his. Now, if he offers you to be able to buy your freedom, feel free. But I have taken that offer that you have given, your family has given, for years now, to the graph, and so far, he is not buying. So, you can hold on to that bag of cash. Because it ain't gonna buy you what you want it to. Do I kill the GM?
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there.
I mean, I'm not having any silent conversation with him, so I don't know what's going on.
am I not coming through?
You haven't said anything when I've stopped talking.
So I've been here talking to myself then.
I mean, did you hear me?
Interestingly, yes, I did hear you. Is it been a while since I've said anything?
No, like I said everything I said, and then you were just silence.
Yeah, so there was dead silence for the last, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just sum up because it'll be easier than trying to remember what I was where my thoughts were. Marsha stood up and basically said if Genevieve if Jeb thought Genevieve was a witch, she believes it too, and Elja's also a witch, everyone's gonna burn. Elja said if you don't give them their freedom, she's gonna make sure there's another bloodshed tomorrow. That's the situation.
You understand that those are both threats, right? Those are both actionable threats.
Oh yeah, those are both threats.
Those aren't threats against people. Those are threats against the property of the graph.
People are the property of the graph, though.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I just said the same.
Well,
Again, this is also not me saying this out of character. This is me saying it to them.
Hey, look, she goes, and Elja goes, "No, I don't think I am anymore." Right?
Do you understand that that's not the way that works?
Well,
You are no more.
Make...
That you are no longer the property of the graph, no more than I am no longer the property of the graph. We all serve at his leisure.
Well, that's more than enough money to buy us out from under him. And I think you could figure out a way to make it happen. And don't think Marcia seems too keen on stopping the bloodshed, but I'll do what I can.
Let me ask you this. What incentivizes me to do that with our current situation?
We'll take down the barricade. We won't start nothing. That's half your...
No, that's half my problem right now. Now you're planning on taking a third of the town's population away, which is going to set us back a fair margin, and it's going to make the graph a lot less pleasant to deal with. What incentive do I have to work towards this goal that you want that will make things harder for me?
Well, them Basques, they pay taxes, don't they? They probably make more taxes than they have made in tithes before they bought themselves. I don't know if you can remember, because that was a long time ago before you even came here. Anyways, not for me to say. The offer's on the table. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a similar offer from Marcia, who is she's just fuming, right? Like, you basically charmed her to be here, but she's reaching the end of her.
Let me just ask you a quick out of character question. How much money would that be?
There's probably 100-ish gold coins in there.
That's it?
That's well, I mean, that's a sizable...
I know that is a lot of money, but that's like, again, these people are toting guns around all over the place. That's like 3 guns worth. That's a lot of people, and people I think are more, well, I don't know. They're probably not more valuable than guns, but labor...
Really what they're buying is their land, right? Because the Hutfelds work Hutveld land. So they're buying their land.
I mean, I understand this too, but again, land is pretty valuable as well.
It certainly is. It's a lot of money. It's probably lowballing it a little bit, but not by that much. Not by a lowborn who can scrape together 100 gold coins could probably buy their family farm. Was about my reasoning.
Elja, take your bag of money. We'll talk about this later. We got problems to deal with right now. You ain't gonna just walk out of this thinking that you're gonna buy your freedom. You understand, I have to deal with this situation here in town. And it's gonna take a while before I head off to talk to the graph again about whatever concerns you want to deal with then. I can't just leave this in the middle now.
She takes her money and she says, well, so be it. I don't think we have anything more to discuss. How about you, Masha? Got anything to say? No? Just going to stare at me like a bitch?
On a meta level, I just want to say I do love the interactions between these two.
Yeah, too bad I went silent before. It was masterful.
We'll just assume that, yeah.
Yeah. So
I will slap both of my hands down on the table.
Okay. I feel like you're trying to make a roll here.
No, well, I mean, I have one last play to make here.
Okay, one last play.
If this goes down the way that you two want it to go down, I can assure you the next step is that I will go to see the graph. And I'm sure you can understand what comes after that. It won't just be mercenaries. I'll go to the church as well. I will tell them that a witch hunter was murdered here. You will face the wrath of both God and man if you test me on this. So for the Emperor's sake, go the fuck home, the both of you, and stand the fuck down.
It does seem like we're at a test. Let's do a guile. I think, right? Are you lying or no? Well, you're lying because the graph can't bring that kind of power to bear.
Graf can hire mercenaries.
I mean,
That was the threat. That's really a written threat that I know he can pull. And I don't know that I'm lying about going to the church. I am pissed.
Okay. So then you're going for an intimidate?
Yeah, this is a threat, clear and present.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
What's the difficulty?
Arduous. But it is an exhibit. They both have extreme positions, so...
Is it arduous? Because I am threatening one of them with the church. They are extremely religious to the point where they won't talk to me because they'll pray. And the other one is very...
They've done nothing wrong, right? Like, they think, obviously, I'm so religious, I would be vindicated. So, that threat holds no weight for them.
Right, because
right.
if the church is well known for one thing, it's understanding.
Right, but she doesn't think that way. She thinks...
Right, that's fair. Yeah, you can't argue with a zealot.
Yeah, she's a zealot, right? I mean, these are two extreme positions, at least, so you get that.
Alright, arduous, intimidation, but I get a plus 10, right?
I thought it was plus 20 for that.
No, I got it on my sheet here. It's a plus 10 base chance of skill tests.
Okay, yeah, well, there you go. Go for it. I also don't know if a success will have much effect, but go for it.
Fate point. Fortune pool, rather.
Fortune pool.
Yeah, I'm gonna use one. Despite you playing your hand of saying, I don't know, if you succeed, it'll happen.
Yeah, I just don't know if your effect level here is that great.
Well, that really played out well.
Yeah, 70. Okay. Yeah, I think you attempt to make the thing, and Elsa was already up. She grabs her coins and just, like, leaves. And Marsha, like, flicks something. She looks at Genevieve, and she says, I'm going to make sure you two burn. And then she gets up and proceeds to leave.
Alright, when they leave...
At this point, Rutherford and Rasmussen come in.
Oh my god.
Are we coming in while they're leaving, or
Yeah,
after
you see
they
Marsha,
left?
like, storm out, right? Well, I guess Elsa left first. You see her walk out. Rasmussen, you smell the coin, right? She didn't have it on her before, but you smell that coin.
Yeah.
Rutherford, you do too. There's a lot of coin walking down the street. She storms off towards the Hutfeld barricade, and Marcia storms back into the chapel.
I'm gonna reach back towards Genevieve for my gun.
I give it back to him, and I kind of look at him confused, and she says, "Yeah, you sure it wasn't wise to take up on Elge's offer?"
It wouldn't play. There's not enough money in it. The graph wouldn't be entertained. How long would it take you to pack your stuff, Genevieve?
Not very long.
I suggest you get to it. I'm gonna grab my belongings. I think it's time to go to Skarnsburg.
So I take it your soaring oratory has not convinced the townfolk to lay down arms and hug in communal...
I think within the next 48 hours, there's gonna be a lot of arms laid down.
48 hours? That's ambitious. How do you intend to make that happen?
Well, I don't intend anything to happen. A lot of people will be dead. Arms will be all over the ground. Congratulations, Rasmussen. I hope you're proud of yourself. Vengeance has paid a hefty toll this day.
I regret any innocent bloodshed, certainly, but I still think that in the long run, dispatching Jeb was the right move.
It was. In fact, we should be rewarded. We should go to the church and ask for one.
Yes, you should do that. In fact, you should stay at that church for the next 48 hours. I'm sure you'll get what's coming to you.
Gold?
Ebb was a charming young boy who had a bright future ahead of him, despite what people may have thought of his mental disabilities. To have him killed in such a fashion because you sought revenge against a man who harmed you in the past is both disappointing and saddening at the same time. I don't think such a thing can be condoned.
And I'm sitting here wondering whether your spectacular level of naivete is an elven feature or just you.
I've seen what happens to men like you, and now you've encountered it as well. In the mines to the north of us, men who succumb to their baser instincts. Thankfully, merely only a human feature, not something my kind devolves into.
I suppose that remains to be seen. I imagine that whatever it is your next move is going to be, you'll still require some measure of assistance.
Sorry, I am still here. This is just the awkward moment where we're players, we need to stick together at the same time. How do I manage the fact that I don't trust you?
Genevieve looks at Alexandra and she's like, "We're really going to leave the village when there's weird creatures nearby in the forest?"
We must travel to Skarnsburg to speak to the Graf.
Okay. Rasmussen's eyebrow raises at this and looks over to Rutherford. Are we really going back there?
We could. But should we?
Okay.
No.
Out of character for just a moment.
Am I coming through
Is
again?
the Graf's sister still in
Yeah,
Skarnsburg?
Tyler.
I'm sorry, am I coming through?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes, she is. She lives at their little manor house that they purchased in Skarnberg. But just so you all know, by foot, this journey it would take probably a week and some odd days, depending on how well paced you make, to get there by foot. And that would be a week back.
So an easy 2 weeks with Rasmussen.
Yeah, I think probably 2.5 weeks of just traveling, right, to get there and back. If you went by
if
boat,
it's going to take that long,
it would be
whatever's going to
days.
happen in the village will have come and gone long before we get back.
Yeah. We could just burn it and leave.
No. No. There's absolutely no reason to do that. There is still profit to be made and
That was
peace
out
to be
of
had.
character. That was out of
Yeah.
We just need to play our cards right. We need to think this through. That's all.
If you wish to stay,
It's just not an option, I think.
well,
Yeah, I
then,
feel like if we're gone for like 2 weeks, like by the time we come back, whatever Marcia and Elja have against each other, they're gonna kill each other by the time we go back.
I mean, that's going to happen tomorrow. If you want to stay, feel free to stay. I'm heading to Skarnsburg.
Well,
It's
I'm going
also-
to reiterate that we have an option here. We have the possibility of tipping the scales in the favor of one family or the other. And whichever family we help will be far more they'll be far more disposed to looking kindly on us when it comes to our interests in this village.
Well, for your sake, Rasmussen, you should probably side with the Hutfields. I don't believe that these Zagenhelts, sorry, I don't believe that the Zagenhelts were going to look too kindly upon you after you've killed one of their sons. As for me, I am going to head to the town that lynches elves. So I don't think you understand how well my mind is made up on this issue.
So I also wanted to add, it's a few weeks. You'll be gone for at least 2.5 weeks if I traveling by foot. Only a few days by boat.
Right. You were saying that when we started up again.
I'm sorry, you lost me again.
Nope. You're still here.
Okay, good. I'm not again. Okay, so just so that information's out there.
Well, you're the craftsman, so if you absolutely feel it's necessary that you leave the village at this crucial time in order to go speak to him, then by all means go do so. We'll try to figure out things here while you're gone to the best of our ability and keep a lid on things.
Right. Certainly you won't side with one family against the other. Playing
Most
out your own
definitely not.
political impulse to try and take over the town by...
Take over the town? Who do you take me for?
I don't know. Some sort of grifter? Some sort of flim-flam man? I don't know.
I'm shocked and offended
At how fast I've seen through your plight?
at just how far off the mark you could possibly be.
Indeed. I think I've had enough of this game. Each of you has disappointed me in your own way. More than enough. I'm quite done with this. This situation has boiled out of control, and I will take care of it.
Genevieve, you are the Graf's Dragoon in this village. What do you say?
She's quiet for a moment, and then she kind of looks at all of you and says, I just don't know what's going on in this village. Something strange happening. I understand that Alexander wants to control the situation between the families, but I feel like something else is going to happen before they even hit heads, and we just haven't figured it out yet. I feel like whatever is going to happen has already started long before we even took action. What happened at the mines, and now it's going to run into this village. This whole idea of a witch, it started way before anything else happened. We're missing something, and I don't know what it is. I think this is us patching up small little wounds and not really understanding what the big picture is. But if it means protecting the village, I'll do whatever I can.
Well, that sounds disturbingly prescient. I think that there's a lot of truth to what you just said, but the question remains: how do we proceed? How do we find that missing piece? What are we overlooking?
Wasn't Matilda doing something when we left?
Matilda was kind enough to patch me up. I don't pry into her affairs after that.
She was talking about the same thing that Brutus' character was in the mine. Those beastful. And she mentioned a she. I don't think we should leave here yet. I think we should talk to her about this she.
Well, the she are one of the Fae. That would be your people, Alexandra.
Not a a fey creature, like she as in a her, I think is what crippling.
Yeah, female.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Like a she bear, a she wolf, she yeti.
I mean, as an item of note, I have left the room. I have gone upstairs to start packing my belongings. This is not a conversation for Alexandre. You keep trying to say, stay, stay, stay. Gotta fix the problem. Alexandre said his piece. He suggested that Genevieve pack her belongings too. If she decides to stay, that's on her. He is going to Skarnsburg. It is set in stone decision.
So about this, right? This is sort of an out of character discussion for a few seconds. If your character leaves, I think the others are going to stay. If your character leaves, he'd be gone for so long.
Right, it'll take me out of the action.
It'll basically take you out of the game, right? If all of you went to Skarnsburg, our game would then shift focus away from the conspiracy happening in the village and things happening in the village. So if that's where you think Alexandre is best suited, and like his character would definitely, because I'm fine with that. But I think that would mean we'd have to roll you up a new character, right, to play in the interim.
I mean, I'm fine with that if that's what it means. At the same time, I could also send you like a dossier of what Alexander. You guys have called me Alexander so much, I'm starting to think it. It's Alexandre, Alexandre Gerard. Anyway, I could also write you up a dossier of Alexandre's plans of what he would do when he reaches Skarnsgard, the mechanizations that he would be willing to take, so that if it's happening in the background, what might play out on what I believe would happen versus what you think would happen, and if that has any consequences to what the party is up to.
Yeah, I think we could even like put stuff together and like maybe have a discussion about that off stream, or off game time as it happens, because realistically, at the pace this game has been going, by the time Alexandre gets back, it's going to be 2.5 weeks in the future. A lot's going to change.
Right, because I mean, I'm not leaving just to leave the scope of the campaign. I have connections outside of the village, and I would want to lead on those connections is what I'm getting at, and that's why I'm leaving to go see those connections.
Well, I for one have no objection to shifting the focus of the game to Skarnsburg. If you think that would be more interesting, then we would happily go along.
Well, I don't want to force you guys to do anything.
So, yeah, I would prefer if we stayed in the village, because I did a ton of work on this village. But
I feel
I'm fine.
I feel like the focus of the village, because I feel like at the same time, like all these little pieces of clues that we're finding out all pertain inside the village. So I feel like if we leave the village, we kind of just like push that plot away, and by the time we come back, like so much will happen. Like we won't even know what's going on. We don't even know what will change.
It's like watching a show and then stop watching it halfway through and then start watching the spin-off.
Right. Instead, what was that guy in Game of Thrones who went out on a boat and then disappeared for like 5 seasons?
Gendry?
Yeah.
I think
Alexandre has gone Gendry, is what's happening.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense in terms of like what he needs to do. Is this the character you'd want to come back to? Well, I guess you'd make that decision at the time. Who knows, you might like your new guy more. So that's what we'll do. Keep track of your experience, because we're going to assume Alexandre is also gaining experience while he's out. So just like make a separate note for your new character. We will message me later and we'll figure out a time to do character creation and how we're going to fit you in.
Sure. I mean, it's not like I have a lot of stuff to pack anyway. Innkeeper filled my room with racist shit.
Yeah. So your room is filled with racist shit, and you go up there. What are you?
I mean, just like a bag full of clothes, basically. That's all I really own. Left my cane in the mountains.
Okay, well, if Alexandre is absolutely intent on leaving, then Rasmussen will give him his 2 final shots, just so that he's not unarmed on the road.
I'll give him a pat on the back and some encouraging words.
I'll check my pockets
Go get
immediately
'em.
after you do that.
So Genevieve kind of looks at Alexandre and she says, I'm going to stay.
Very well. You're a good girl, Genevieve. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's been a pleasure to have watched you grown up. I would say that I'd pray for your continued survival in this village, but it seems both unlikely and also I don't pray. Alexandre, take 1 corruption. Fine. Okay.
She just smiles at him and she says that she's like, I promise I won't die easily. And she kind of looks a little sad, but at the same time a little bit hopeful that whatever he's going to do will help the village.
Fast forward to when I reach Skarnsburg and I'm hanging from a tree.
Oh my god.
It's not a good place for elves. They hate us.
You should take that noose the innkeeper left.
By the way, if you're speaking, Elantra, can't hear you.
Really? It happened again?
I can't tell when it's happening because I don't know that you're talking or not.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I imagine you can hear me now. So, yeah, let's just pick up from the bottom. Alexandre is leaving. Everyone's sort of in the bottom of the inn. Last words and stuff like that. Already what you were doing. Just continue. Okay. Yeah.
You know
is
what?
anyone
Ra- Rasmussen will simply comment on the fact that Alexandre is probably one of the most perplexing men he's ever come across. And he does legitimately want to see him stay alive. But as he walks away, Rasmussen will look to Rutherford and just have the slightest of smirks. Because the biggest complication to getting their graft done in the village is just walking away.
Rutherford doesn't have such a good look on his face. Kind of looks worried. A little bit angry. But doesn't really say anything, just kind of waves goodbye,